Silver and gold investors, are you annoyed? Bitcoin hits over $100,000 per Bitcoin. Why can't gold and silver hit $100,000? If you are annoyed, and I'll ask you that question, we're going to talk about some reasons why, from a big picture perspective, silver and gold still prevail. Silver and gold will be the winner at the end of the race. Also, we're going to talk about new legislation in a state near you which would eliminate the need or the ability of the federal government to implement a CBDC. And there's even more stunning information because this is legal tender legislation that is being considered right now. And there's another factor to it that is just absolutely astounding. But let's get to the big story of the day, guys. And are you annoyed? I'll ask you that question. I am. I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little sick of hearing about Bitcoin. Okay, here, let me give you an example right now. And let's see what Jerome Powell had to say about Bitcoin and gold, which I think we'll all find very, very interesting. Just go out to Google, type into Google News, Bitcoin. It's just overwhelming the amount of press coverage that's received by Bitcoin. But let's go to this. This article popped up. I thought we got to look at this one. What Fed Chief Powell said about crypto that may have aided Bitcoin's rally to $100,000. Bitcoin's meteoric run may have gotten a little extra push from an unlikely source. Jerome Powell, it's not a competitor for the dollar. It's really a competitor for gold, the central bank leader said at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. So we've got Jerome Powell now saying and comparing Bitcoin to gold. Let me bring up a very important point about Bitcoin and gold, guys. The market cap of gold is like 8 or 9 times bigger than that of Bitcoin. Does it make you a little suspicious that it's all they're talking about in the mainstream media? Turn on CNN or CNBC or one of the business news channels. All right, all they have on the screen the entire time, there's almost always a quote for the Bitcoin price. Gold and silver, it pops up like once every minute. You got to really be watching for it if you want to see gold and silver. Bitcoin and crypto are being pumped by the mainstream media, right? They're being pumped all over, right? And this is I'll just say it, okay? To me, it almost seems more like digital tulips, right? Remember the tulip bulb craze? Than it does like gold. Jerome Powell saying it's like gold. Do you think it's like gold? No. I think there's a big differentiator in my mind. And look, I'm entitled to my opinion. So are you. I'm not anti-Bitcoin. Don't throw tulips at me or anything. But to me, when I look at Bitcoin, and even Jerome Powell is comparing it to gold, right? They're pumping it. Okay. I think in reality, Bitcoin's closer to tulips or whatever, right? You can't, there's a limited number of tulip bulbs in the world. You can grow them. You can make more, just like you can mine Bitcoins. And I know the number of Bitcoins is limited at 21 million or whatever the heck it is. But nonetheless, in my mind, there's a big difference between gold and Bitcoin. And there's such a craze going on. I mean, it's been taken over by the mainstream media. It's been taken over by the mainstream financial services companies. The big financial service industry is embracing it at this point. But remember, they also embraced mortgage-backed securities, which caused the great financial crisis, okay? And what about this? What about when gold and silver, or when gold, not silver yet, but when gold hit an all-time high just a few months ago? There was crickets. It was the exact opposite. There was no attention being paid to gold when it hit new all-time highs. Bitcoin goes to $100,000, and it's like the world is, erupting with media coverage. I'm telling you, there's something behind this. There's something major behind this, because don't forget, right, the world central banks, I've yet to hear of any major world central bank who's investing in Bitcoin as a reserve asset. And we know, what does that tell us? that the world central banks are buying gold. And we know that the Russians are actually buying themselves a little silver right now as well. Hey, I forgot to tell you the most important thing. Thank you. Yes, you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the basement. It's a big deal when you show up. It's a big deal that you're here. You're smart. We're a group of people. We get together most every day. We love to talk about gold and silver. Basement dwellers. We're like a tribe, whatever you want to call us. We're a group. You're always welcome here. Please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Super chat, super thanks are never expected. Always super appreciated. On that mark, I owe a big apology. I missed a super chat at the end of the live stream yesterday. I apologize. And I spent the half hour trying to find a way to find the person, and I couldn't figure it out. Then I forgot to write the name down. It was a woman. Thank you for the super chat. Not Brenda, but I do want to say hi to Brenda. Shout out to Brenda because that's separate. One of our basement dwellers requested I shout out Brenda. Thank you, Brenda, for being here. Okay, let's go look at this. This is some interesting information. Then we're going to get into this big news out of Missouri about legal tender legislation, but also a ban on CBDCs. Let's go check this out. This is an interesting tweet from Darth Powell. Said that Bitcoin is centrally controlled manipulation Ponzi scheme. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it. 1.94% of the total Bitcoin addresses hold almost 93% of the Bitcoin. So people say, oh, it's the money for the people. It's the whatever. Well, 2% of the addresses control 93% of it right now. I'm telling you guys, I'm suspicious, okay? But let's focus in on silver and gold. How about $22,000 gold? Is that what you want to hear this morning? We're going to talk about that next. I doubt that it's hit that level right now. We're going to run out to channel sponsor Pimbex and get an update here. They made me restart my computer, so sorry, things are a little clunky this morning. Let's get an update. These are yesterday's prices. Let's get an updated price on gold and silver. We got some red. Gold is at $2,640. Silver down 11 cents, $31.21. Thank you. Guys, I want to tell you about Pimbex, online bullion dealer, what they can do for you. And I'll tell you what they're doing for you right now. They sponsor the channel. They make this live stream. They make this channel possible, number one. But on top of that, what they can do is provide you with gold, silver, platinum group metals. You can buy it online here at their website. It's quick, it's easy, it's secure, okay? I was a customer of Pimbex before they sponsored the channel, but what's the best part about it is I've received overwhelmingly positive feedback from our community because they provide ultra competitive prices. They've got a great selection, and it's like a one-stop shop, right? It's a company you know you can trust, so please consider Pimbex next time you are looking to buy some bullion. And we're going to go back to that silver price we just looked at, $31.21. Is that what we said? I've got some news for you on that as well. But big warning, please, if you ever decide to convert all or part of an individual retirement account, an IRA, I don't give financial advice, but if you ever decide to convert one into precious metals, take your time, talk to a lot of people. You may want to consider, I believe you would benefit from talking to the guys at Pimbex. Okay, you want to compare, take your time, and at the end of the day, compare how many actual ounces of gold and silver any of the options that you have are actually going to provide for you. Okay, please be careful. Take your time if you ever decide to do that. Okay, let's go to this. Let's look at this morning. I know, right? We all wish we had thousands and millions of Bitcoins, but we have silver, and I want to show you something on this chart. This is a 1-year chart of silver. What do you notice when you look at this chart? It's a 1-year price chart of silver. The green shaded area, the green line, is the price, right? Month by month over the last year. You see the months listed at the bottom. Sure, you see that it's on a big upward sloping trend. But guys, when we look at the silver price, we got to realize this is so critical. A year ago right now, this is where we were. This was our price, okay? $22.50. That's in the futures market, right? This is the March contract, but nonetheless, currently in the futures market, we're at $31.83. We're up almost $10 per ounce, probably 45% in the silver price, right? We talked about this yesterday, but we'll draw this line again. Can you see the upward sloping price trend in silver? I think we're in for a great year in 2025. It's going to be very, very interesting. But let's look at history. Let's talk about 22. Hold on. We're having some technical difficulties. $22,000 gold. $22,000 gold, right? Crazy, right? I know, absolute crazy talk, even though during the 1970s, gold went up 24 times, right? Which would be, I don't know, 64,000 or something like that gold, $22,000 gold. And let's go to this very interesting piece of brief analysis that shows us how this came from the Gold Silver HQ. They say a case for $45,000 gold. As stocks crash and gold rises, the Dow to gold ratio, that measures, right, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which right now is about what, 45,000? It's a ratio. So you divide the Dow, 45,000, by the gold price, okay? That will collapse. How far will it fall this time? If the Dow falls by 50%, okay, down to about 22,000, then gold would be, and if it went to a 1-to-1 ratio, which it has done in the past several times, we would have $22,000 gold. If we went to a Dow to gold ratio of 2-to-1 at a 22,000 Dow, we'd be at 11,000. And if it went to Dow to gold of 1-to-2, we'd be at 44,700. Okay, here, look, right? Back in 1980, we went to 1-to-1. Okay, that again, if the Dow dropped by half and we went to the same ratio, that wasn't that long ago, we would have $22,000 gold. There's 2-to-1. What were we at? Where were we at 2-to-1? 2-to-1 at a $22,000 Dow, we'd be at $11,000 gold. And the 2-to-1 happened in during the Great Depression. So do you think we could have another Great Depression? Do you think we could have $22,000 gold? I do. I absolutely do. Do I think it's going to happen tomorrow or the next day? No. Am I very optimistic about it occurring at some point during my lifetime? Absolutely. Without a doubt. Okay. Jobs number, big warning. Tomorrow could be ugly. I don't want to be a pessimist. Tomorrow could be a difficult day for the silver and gold price. It could also be a very glorious day for the silver and gold price. Not that we would allow movements in the silver or gold price to affect our moods or anything. Now, would we? But why? Why is tomorrow a big day? Tomorrow is the big jobs number coming out, okay, from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. That number could be anything at this point. I mean, absolutely anything. Everybody knows it's the big joke on Wall Street, right? But at the same time, people pay attention to it. And the the level of attention that's being paid to this number is a little bit dialed up right now because the level of attention that's being paid to the Fed is also dialed up. So we'll get that number tomorrow morning. That will have a big impact on the markets. It will have a big impact on the precious metals prices as well, because it will have a big impact on this. Okay, we're going to the CME group, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, FedWatch. Everything is reloading this morning. Sorry for the delay. Okay, because in 13 days, exactly, so that'll be Wednesday of next week, we will hear from Jerome Powell in the Federal Reserve. This Fed meeting, I think, will have much more of an impact on the silver and gold price because people are searching for direction. There's a lot of uncertainty out there in the market right now. We know that Jerome and the Fed is basically up a creek without a paddle. As we head into the coming years, but we are going to have these brief periods of time where their sway, their influence on the general markets, and in particular, what we like to watch, the silver and gold market, their influence will be a bit elevated. And as we see here, the odds of a rate cut have actually dropped a bit from yesterday. Now we're down to 68%. Yesterday, this was 74, 75%. So the markets are now pricing in a slightly lower chance that we're going to have a Fed rate cut on December 18th, which will be the next time that we hear from Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve. But we know that in the long run, the Fed is, I have to watch my language, the Fed is in a very difficult situation. The Fed will be faced with no option but to print. We can't deal with this, guys, without printing money. And not a political statement, but Donald J. Trump is not going to be able to fix this, okay? Donald J. Trump will likely make this skyrocket. That's been our experience. That's what he's done as a businessman. That's what he's done as a president during his last term. Again, not a political statement, okay? But when this goes up, okay, all that means I can go into all kinds of fancy calculations for you, but as the U.S. national debt continues, I mean, we just rolled over to 36 trillion, what, a week and a half ago? We're already at 36 trillion, 135 billion. I could explain it to you 10 different ways, and the end result is the same. I'll save you that. The end result is they have to devalue the dollar. That will create big inflation. That will be a major source of support for the gold and silver price as we head into the coming months, quarters, and years and decades. Let's just go check. Oh boy, it's getting interesting. Did that go down a little bit? The dollar to silver ratio only at about 1,085. Yes, meaning that your government, I think the M2 money supply, is the M2 money supply shrinking? This is interesting. No, it's not shrinking. There it is right there. And the M2 money supply measures the amount of basically liquid money in the economy being created. So our government is creating via the M2 money supply $1,085 for each 1 ounce of silver that the world is creating right now. Thank you guys for being here. So the big job numbers tomorrow, we'll be covering that. It'll be interesting. Who knows, right? Could you imagine? We know we believe everything that our president Joe Biden tells us. He's proven us, especially recently, that when he says something, his word is solid as gold. Well, that's a bad analogy, but nonetheless, we would never suspect that they would do some funny business with those jobs numbers tomorrow. I think it's I've come on here and made predictions about the job numbers. I think it's a wild card what we're going to get tomorrow from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. But buckle up, Buttercup, because tomorrow's, I think, going to be a manic day. It could either be a great positive day for the gold and silver price, or it could be Poopsville for the silver and gold price. So just be prepared, be ready. It's coming. What about South Korea declared martial law for 6 hours or whatever the other day? Bizarro, scary situation that developed. But what did they say? What did their monetary authorities say that means everything to the price of gold and silver for Americans? Because America will wind up doing the same exact thing. We will have more. One thing we know for sure, and look, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but we will have more financial crisis in this country. We looked at the debt. I'm not going to take you back to the debt clock, but you envision 36 trillion in debt growing. We have a very delicate, scary financial situation in this country. We know if we just look at history, these crises occur. We will have it again. And what will they do? Let's go to the South Koreans and see what they're doing in their time of crisis, which will give us a big clue as to what we can expect when these types of situations unfold here in the United States. And where was it? Hold on. Wait. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. From metals and miners. Let me make sure I have you on the right sheet, which I do. Yes. Okay. From metals and miners. South Korea pledges unlimited liquidity. Unlimited liquidity to stabilize markets. There's a big reason why that phrase is critical and what it means to you and your investments in silver and gold. Let me just read this, and then we'll get to the reasons why. South Korea's finance ministry said on Wednesday it is ready to deploy unlimited liquidity into financial markets if needed after President Yoon Suk Yeol lifted a martial law declaration he imposed overnight that pushed the won to multi-year lows. Quote, all financial foreign exchange markets, as well as the stock markets, will operate normally, the government said in a statement. We will inject unlimited liquidity into stocks, bonds, short-term money market, as well as Forex markets for the time being until they are fully normalized. Okay, unlimited into the stock market, does that sound familiar? Coming to a theater near you in the United States of America, right? Unlimited liquidity. We know the Fed has done that before. They did it during the great financial crisis. They did it during the C-19 crisis. They're going to do it again because when they kicked those cans down the road, guys, it just exacerbated the situation that we have in the United States. That's all that these central bankers can do. That's their only tool they have. That's the reality. And they'll call it all different names, right? QE, whatever the Fed came up with. And the next one will have a different name. But at the end of the day, it's going to be printing money, right? They'll be devaluing the dollar. It's the only thing they do. It's their only playbook. That's the way it works. What about Missouri? This is astounding. I'm broadcasting to you from the state of Missouri, but Missouri has gold and silver legal tender legislation again this year. There's two interesting new things that are components of this. Something to do with anti-CBDC is written into this legislation, but I think the coolest part is that it would require the Missouri state treasurer to hold some gold and silver. Let's investigate this because it is fascinating. And it is coming to a theater near you if you live in the United States, because Missouri, we're in the center of the country. We do have two Federal Reserve banks in Missouri, one in St. Louis, one in Kansas City, which is very unusual. Here we go. From Zero Hedge, but many places are covering this. Missouri bill would ban CBDCs, and make gold and silver legal tender legislation. Okay. Attempts continue in the U.S. state of Missouri to prohibit the potential use of central bank digital currencies. Look at that. That's a Missouri road. I think I've driven down that one. Anyhow, the state has seen several bills this year to stave off digital currency, which does not currently exist in the United States. Rick Bratton pre-filed SB 194. It introduces changes to state law that would prohibit public entities from accepting a CBDC or participating in any testing of CBDCs. It also changes the definition of money in the state's Uniform Commercial Code to exclude CBDCs. Okay. Now, in addition to this is where the gold and silver stuff comes on. This is crazy, guys. Let me highlight this. This needs to be highlighted. This is glorious. I'm proud of the state of Missouri for taking this step. In addition to the provisions on the CBDCs, the bill would require the state treasurer to keep at least 1% of the state funds in gold and silver. It would also exempt, okay, well, let's back up. 1%, which is, you'd say that's not a lot. Well, the state of Missouri is a lot bigger than many of you may believe, right? Two big cities, St. Louis, Kansas City, two Federal Reserve banks. If we get the treasurer of the state of Missouri under law required to keep gold and silver in the treasury, that is a major news story, number one, but also a major step, right, towards the re-recognition of gold and silver as real money, right? And that's what this type of legislation is doing. It's not just Missouri. You know, there's been a wave of legislation. Pat Holland from the Missouri Freedom Initiative works mostly in Missouri, but you also have the Citizens for Sound Money, Daniel Diaz, working on a more national basis. There's a host of states which have already passed legal tender legislation. And as we move into 2025, there's going to be more and more states fighting for it as well. I'm hearing rumors about Indiana, a bunch of different states. The list is growing. I think you can go to Citizens for Sound Money and check out their website. They've got like a state-by-state list and where things stand. But guys, this is big news. Let's get back to that article. We got a few more points we want to cover. It's a massive, okay, here we go. Let's read this. The act declares that gold and silver shall be accepted as legal tender at their spot price plus market premium in the state of Missouri. Cost incurred in the course of verification of the weight and purity of any silver gold shall be borne by the receiving entity. Okay, so welcome to Missouri, where we're going to go back onto the gold standard and silver standard. I'm ready, baby. The bill's provision on CBDC are similar or identical to those other bills introduced in Missouri earlier this year. Okay, and there's Rick Bratton. He's the guy, apparently better coverage than Verizon. Can you hear us now? That's pretty cool shirt. I never saw that. Huh? Interesting. Not a political statement. This would make changes to the Uniform Commercial Code. I believe it passed the House vote. Here we go. So it's already passed the House vote and has been forwarded to the state Senate. Okay. There's a separate bill about CBDC alone. Anyhow, why is this important to you? Because guys, if you live in the United States, and if you don't live in the United States, there's a big reason why this is important to you. But if you live in the United States, this is the dominoes, the gold and silver dominoes are falling one by one by one. We already have a host of states in the United States that right now have gold and silver legal legislation. I don't want to misstate, and so don't quote me on these, but states like Utah, I believe Texas, I know Florida's working on it. Tennessee passed some. I mean, Kentucky, Iowa, I believe can. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that. I need to get more up to speed, and I will. But we do. I know for a fact we've got these states that are falling like dominoes right now, one by one by one. Right, the states. Is your state part of it? Do some research, figure it out, because what they're doing, the states are saying, are rejecting the Federal Reserve, rejecting the federal government. And our founding fathers set up the Constitution in this manner so that the states are able to reclaim, right, their constitutional right to use silver and gold as real money. At the same time, we've got like asset-backed, 100% backed by real metal, asset-backed currencies that are being developed. Right, the thing from Wisdom Tree. There's Texas is talking about has legislation proposed pending that would create a gold and silver backed currency in the state of Texas. Don't forget, guys, Texas has their own depository. Texas is like one of the most innovative, growing states in the country. Everybody's moving from California, right? Because some people say it's become a little, what do they call it? California? I don't know. Anyway, become a little too, a distasteful place to live for a lot of people. Businesses are moving from California to Texas, and Texas is embracing this idea of an asset-backed digital currency. 100% regulated. Now, don't look. We got to get this through our thick skulls. I know. I love physical metal. These asset-backed digital currencies are not going to take away your ability to continue to stack physical metal. They'll do two big things for you. This is why you need to be excited about these 100% asset-backed gold and silver type things. They do two things for you. Number one, they would easily let you be able to save and protect your wealth in gold and silver and make it functional. so that you could go to the dry cleaner, you could go to the grocery store, you could go to the comic book store. I don't know, whatever floats your boat. None of my business. But you could use real gold, use a debit card, right? Type arrangement and buy with real without having to carry around. Look, I love this stuff. I carry a lot. Look, let's do a little show and tell. My favorite. I love that Indian, right? I love carrying this stuff around, no doubt about it. But if I'm going to go to the grocery store, I don't want to be lugging 10 American Silver Eagles with me or 5, whatever the case may be. No, you want to be able to use it, okay? You want to be able to use it, but it's critical. I've never yet invested in any of these asset-backed digital currencies because I've yet to become 100% comfortable. Okay, I will at some point, and I'll let you know when I do. Digital gold, digital silver, but only when I'm 100% certain that if I recommend it or I talk about it, that I'm 100% certain that it's 100% backed, 100% audited, regulated, and that the metal is actually there. And that day is coming, okay? And that is benefit number 1. Benefit number 2, if you're like me and you're a stacker, are you a stacker? I'm a stacker, you're a stacker. Wouldn't you like to be a stacker too? Yeah, you are, okay? When these solutions gain a popular, what's the word? When I can't find that word. Maybe you're like me. I'm 54 years old. I can't find all my words. It's funny. I used to say it to my little kids when they were 4. Find your words. Popular adoption. That's still not it. There's a fancier way to say it. But when they become popular adopted, people are using these asset-backed digital currencies, that will also create more massive demand for real physical metal because they're going to need that metal to back up those asset-backed digital currencies. All right, I digress. Just stay out of debt, okay? Stay out of debt. Okay, gold and silver. Here we go. Let's go look at this. This is a new one to me. This will be a new one to you as well. Where is it? Here we go. Another one from Metals and Miners. But this is gold, silver HQ. 7 industrial demands. Just because we need to do a review, guys. Don't forget the demand for silver. You know, I know some of these days are challenging. I understand. But the demand for silver is continuing to grow. What we talked about yesterday, what did Warren Buffett say that is so critical? The demand for silver is inelastic. Inelastic means not elastic, not flexible. Not flexible means solid, right? Means that no matter what the price goes to, the demand will pretty much remain the same. It's not flexible. What are these big 7 demand areas that we need to do a quick review about the silver market because they are critical, right, to the economy, but also critical to the demand structure of silver. Okay, a thread. Solar panels. Somebody said earlier in the comments, right when I came on, that somebody said that in 2025 they're estimating 550 million ounces of silver paste will be needed for solar panels. That's more than half of the world's silver production. I didn't have time to verify, that was just one of the comments, but we know solar panels are exploding. Electronics, medical, we never talk about that. Medical applications. Silver is antimicrobial. Silver is like sewn into the gowns of the brain surgeons and surgeons, whatever, medical clothing. There's big applications for silver in the medical industry. Automotive industry, yes. We know Samsung's working on the solid state battery, which would require, some people say, up to 30 ounces plus of silver per battery per car. We also know that Samsung is working with Toyota and that Lexus, last I read, was planning to be the first big car brand to roll out this new generation of car battery that lasts twice as long as the current batteries. That is lighter, that is much more safer, and there's a bunch, and charges like in a fraction of the time. All right. Water purification. I've heard Rick Rule talk about that, right? Sanitation, water purification for silver. 5G technology, chemical manufacturing. All right, guys, there's silver. All right, we know they go through all the different points. I'll leave that for you to go read if you like. Again, that was from the Metals and Miners Substack. Oh, but here, look at this. This is a funny one. I know we're all a little bitter about the Bitcoin situation, whatever. But this was breaking from Nostra House of Gold last night. Apple Computer apparently has announced that they will be using Bitcoin instead of gold in the manufacturing of their next iPhones. Just pointing out the fact that, yes, the Bitcoin situation is interesting. I'll go on a little Bitcoin rant. I believe Bitcoin is 100% mostly manipulation. How can it not be? Okay, I'm not anti-Bitcoin. I'm just giving you my perspective on what I see in the Bitcoin world. Okay. The crypto market, we talk about the silver price being manipulated, but I would argue that the price of most of these cryptos is much more manipulated because they don't have any tether back to reality. They have nothing. The only thing that a lot of them are, and I know they have these, whatever, some of them have use cases, I won't argue into that, is price. That's the only thing that drives them, especially some of these meme coins like Dogecoin or whatever these may be. Okay. It's price, right? And price is all based on emotion. And when you have the big major financial institutions, which I'll say suspiciously have become very pro crypto, you're going to tell me that these big financial firms that have been proven to have manipulated the gold price and silver price for decades aren't manipulating the price of the cryptos? And when you have this massive mainstream media, almost like a brainwashing that's going on about crypto, that the price is real, that the price is based on some type of real value. No, I don't think it is. Okay. I just can't think it is. And then on top of it, let's just talk about Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor, who's like the messiah of crypto and Bitcoin, his company MicroStrategy, which used to be a software type company, just years ago if you don't know this, started buying Bitcoin. He became like the Bitcoin savior or whatever you want to call him. They're borrowing billions of dollars from Wall Street, borrowing money, issuing bonds, and then using that money to buy Bitcoin. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like taking money out on your credit card and going to the casino. That's what's supporting the price of Bitcoin, right? Part of it, not all of it. I'm not going to say it, but to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So we talk about silver, and I put a video out about this. I think it's coming out later. Maybe I did already. I don't know, but we talk about silver being manipulated, and it is, right? Look here. Look, here's how silver's manipulated. Okay. Right here. Right down here. Right here. See my yellow finger? The paper to silver ratio, which now is continuing to go up, but it's over 400 claims, paper claims on each 1 ounce of real silver in the big trading markets, 400 to 1. Okay. But at least silver has that, right? The cryptos, there's nothing back there. There's nothing backing them. And, again, hey, congratulations to you. If you've made money on crypto, that's great. Me personally, if I'd made a lot of money on crypto, I'd sell it and convert it to real metal. But I'm not giving financial advice, and you're not asking for it. But I'm just saying the situation that we're seeing unfold right now is really, really crazy, right? And I know it seems real to a lot of people, but other real bubble type situations have unfolded as well. I could be dead wrong. I've been wrong up to today when it comes to why I never bought Bitcoin. And I'm going to tell you, okay, I looked at Bitcoin before 99.9999999% of these people that are now Bitcoin and crypto fanatics even knew that it existed. I studied Bitcoin back in 2000. It was probably 13 when my daughters were infants. Okay. And at that point, I didn't understand. Sure, I wish I'd have bought it. I think Bitcoin was like 10, 12 bucks at the time. But I never moved on it because it never felt quite right. It still doesn't feel quite right now. Do I wish I'd bought it at $10, $12? I mean, imagine that. In 2000, and I've been I don't have all the dates specific here, but when I was looking at it, honestly, it was around $10 that you could have taken 10 of these, right, and turned them into 100,000 of these paper, right? But it's all make believe. This is make believe. Federal Reserve note. I mean, it just is really an astounding situation. And furthermore, right, what the part that really gets me, this really, I want to ask you. And again, I think this makes it clear to us why we like our silver and gold. But I want to ask you how this makes sense. Somebody, please, if you can explain this to me, send me an email and explain to me this is incredible, maddening situation that we're seeing right now in our world when it comes to Bitcoin, gold, and silver, and Donald J. Trump. Because we've got Donald J. Trump, right, who came out over the weekend and said, I'm going to put 100% tariffs on any of these BRICS countries who use any alternative to the US dollar, if they develop their own system, right? Okay. But then at the same time, you got the same guy who says he's in favor of cryptocurrencies, which are an alternative to the US dollar. Something's going on that doesn't make sense, right? So then my question for Donald J. Trump, president-elect, in all due respect, is it okay for the BRICS countries to trade amongst themselves in cryptocurrency? I don't know. I don't know, right? There's a lot of weird stuff going on. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, more uncertainty in our world right now than any other time in my life. I don't know how you feel about it. And I'm telling you, there's one medicine for uncertainty, and that's gold and silver. Guys, thank you. Okay. Again, thanks for being part of the basement. I want to say thank you to First Mining Gold, Canadian gold developer, sponsor of Ron's Basement. They've got 2 development stage projects in Canada, gold in the ground in Canada. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com. And Fortuna Mining, operating mining company headed by Jorge Ganoza, one of my favorite CEOs. They're mining silver and gold in Latin America, and they have an expanding gold production profile in West Africa. Let's run out and get an update on the silver and gold price at channel sponsor Pimbex. Oh boy, I got a feeling today, down 26 cents for silver. Still, guys, 31, right around $31 per ounce. Oh, gold's at $2,600. Don't forget, 1 year ago right now, we were looking at silver, $22 per ounce. Let's go see where gold was exactly 1 year ago. This will be fun. Okay, this will make us feel better. We're already feeling good. Up there was gold. Back up. Goldie. There's our friend Gold. Let's let this. Come on. There we go. Where was gold? Who knows? Do you know? Where do you think gold was 1 year ago right now? Here it is today, taking a little bit of a nosedive. And wow. Guys, remember? Now I remember. Right, gold was right around. We were celebrating because gold was breaking through 2,000. Right there, it was on the 6th of December last year. We were at $2,030. Then we dipped down below, down by $30. Right, a day like today. But then look, it's been a steady rise up. Let's draw that because this will make us feel just dandy about our investments in precious metals. That's what the last 12 months have looked like for the gold price. Okay, could we dip down here? Absolutely. But you know what? We know what's going on in our world right now. We know what the central banks are doing. We know reality. We know value. I appreciate you being here. Have a great day. Be nice to yourself. You deserve it. Okay? Come back to the basement. You're always welcome here, right? You're part of this group. We come together. Thank you to the moderators, Jake from Jake's Custom Parts, Annie Oakley, and also Big Tim, the Silvershire. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.